Hello everyone, welcome to BeginnersC++. This is going to be lesson number 15, I believe. This one's titled Arrays in Action. So in this lesson, let me get off that IDE 1 page there. What we're going to be doing is covering arrays. And the first thing I want to do is kind of outline what we're going to be doing in this lesson. So, one, we're going to be showing how to iterate through a loop. Second, we are going to be showing how to determine the size of an array. Third, we're going to talk about pointers very briefly. Fourth, we're going to show you how to reverse an array, because that's a super common homework assignment, and I actually think it's kind of good theory. So, first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make ourselves an array. So, I like making arrays of ints. It's usually really easy to do, but for this, actually I'll stick with int. You guys can do double or whatever on your own time. You can make an array of anything too. You can make an array of strings, you can make an array of whatever. So let's get into just a quick my array equals, and I guess I'll initialize them all to 0 like that. And let's do 7. We'll make the size equal to 7. Now, one thing that I see people doing all the time is they try to do this. They try to do int size equals 0, cout, enter a size, cin size, and then they try to set this equal to size, just like that. And if you look at the error here, it's going to tell you that it has to have a constant value. So then they try to just do constant size, and then you can't cin for it because it's constant. And so a lot of people like to ask, how do we set the size? And the answer is we can't get into that yet because it involves pointers. And I haven't taught you guys about pointers yet. Because pointers are a lot harder than this and they involve arrays. So we're going to forget about that for now. But I did want to touch on that because that's a question I've gotten quite a few times. And it will be covered. It's just definitely not going to be covered right now. So we've made an array. We've set it equal to 7, right? Now let's assume that we don't immediately know the size of the array. In this case, we know it's 7. But let's just say for argument's sake, we don't know that. What we can do, and this will come into play later, is do int I equals 0. I is less than size of my array divided by size of int. And then you do I++. So in this case, let's just do cout I and all. And so the reason I'm couting I is because all the values inside this array are 0. So this way we should see 0 through 6 because the size of the array is 7. And we do. So this is the way that we're going to be handling when we have an array that we don't necessarily know the size of. Or we need to just use an array in a function and maybe, we're in a different file or something like that. There's going to be times when this code comes up because I forget how big I made an array. And it's easier because there's no making a mistake on it. So that said, this is how we iterate through an array. Rather than having I here, we just do my array of I. Once again, when I have a subscript like that, I say of I. So we output, we see all the zeros because that's what we loaded in there. So pointers, we're going to get into in a few lessons, but that is how we would make it so that we don't necessarily, I don't want to say that we don't know the size because it still needs to be a const, but we'll get more into that later. I wanted to talk about it, but I kind of don't. For beginners purposes, what I will say is a pointer is the same as an array when used with arrays. And we'll get into that in, it looks like, about 5 lessons from now. But that's just your very quick primer on what a pointer is. Now, how to reverse an array is actually a little bit interesting. So what we do is, first things first, we need to know the size of the array. There's no way that we can try to do this without knowing the size of the array. So what we do is we do, let's set this like this. We'll do const int size equals 7, right? And we'll set this via variable to size. And that's valid because we know that it's equal to size and we know what size is equal to. So what I can do here is I can do int I equals size, right? And then just do is greater than 0 and I minus minus. And then when we output this array, let's actually change this equal to yeah, okay. So we do that, we output, oops, yeah, 1 through 8 is what we're looking for here. Oh, actually, no, it is not. What did I do? Less than or equal to 0. What did I do here? So, for the sake of clarity, when I set it equal to size, the first value. So when I say 7, right? This is a great example. This is the off by 1 error that I went to great lengths last episode to tell you guys not to do. So when we do 7 like that, right? What that means is I'm making, yeah, right, that's roughly 7, right? We're making values like this, right? It's too many spaces. 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry if that's kind of shitty on my boxes this time. That's not what I was going for. But that's good enough, right? And you'll remember that our subscript, or our kind of access, was more 0 indexed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So what I just tried to do is set up 7, and I went and I tried to do 7. So let me run this again. And you'll notice that that first position, it's just garbage. It makes no sense because this is unallocated memory. There can be values here that we don't know what they are. So that's why we don't use it. So the proper way to make this run properly, and I just want to show this again, we get all the values that we're after because we run this less than or greater than or equal to. But if we just run it greater than, I'm thinking that that should stop at 2, which it does. So this tells us that there's an off by 1 error. We're not seeing that 1 like we should be. So in this case, what we're supposed to be doing is we should be going from size -1 and greater than or equal to 0. So this means that the size is 7, but we're going to start at 6, hit 5, go all the way down to 0, and even when it equals 0, we're going to run this loop one more time because that's going to give us the value in the 0th position of the array. So we run this one more time, and perfect. So that's the basics on this, and I'm actually really glad that I made that error there, because it kind of shows you guys what happens when you sort of forget the rules of an array. Um, and I mean, it's a super common error, and you guys are going to do it at least once in your life. And whether you're counting from the bottom up or the bottom down, you know, you can make that mistake. So to show you guys just the other half of this, a lot of the time teachers want you to set an array equal to. Actually, you know what? No. You guys are going to do this. You guys are going to take this for homework. I actually had a pretty cool homework that I'm going to set as a bonus. So your homework is going to be to make a second array, and that array is going to be the reverse of the first array. And I've already shown you how to reverse an array, but I'm interested to see on how you guys solve around the problem, because if you guys are trying to set it, you have to do it the other way, and it's going to be interesting. There are plenty of algorithms to do it too. So the bonus is actually, I kind of like the bonus more than I like the homework. So what you're going to do is you're going to create an array, if that's how you spelled array, it would be better, of 5 strings. Allow the user to enter values for the strings, then output them in random order. So those are your that's your homework and your bonus. If you guys have any questions about this, please let me know. Like, subscribe, share, and catch me on the forums if you have any questions. See you around.